What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and we're doing another food review. It's a little interesting today. So I was at Walmart a couple of weeks back, and I initially bought this. However, the intent was that I was waiting because this item was a part of a set that unfortunately I couldn't find the others of. That said, we're just going to go ahead and do this one review with this one piece now. However, this was supposed to be a Walmart exclusive trio of Pringles flavors, all themed with the beer, Miller Lite, if you're familiar with the beer brand. They were working together with Pringles to make this Walmart exclusive limited edition set of beer can chicken, grilled beer brat, and beer braised steak flavored Pringles. Now, as I said, I only was able to find one. When we first saw the cardboard shipper that had the advertisement and stuff on it, we looked through all the Pringles there. They had tons of them. And the annoying thing is the tops were labeled limited edition, just like, you know, these were. So if you tried to grab like a can, of original Pringles, they had limited edition labels on the top, just like these, because they were like colored differently. They had a different logo or something, you know, it was just like different can art, so to speak, which kind of made this whole process a little bit annoying for the sake of the fact that you've got limited edition flavors. Why are you branding your normal flavors that aren't going to change limited edition as well? Because it's the same flavors that are still going to be there when this time passes. But anyways, I managed to get the beer can chicken. Now, I am familiar with cooking with beer, with wine, with alcohols, things like that. And when done right, it can enhance the flavor of the food. It can be really well done. However, I don't know how much of that flavor is going to come through, in a sense, in something like this. So I am anxious and I am kind of excited to try it, but I'm worried because of things that I've had before that have been themed in a similar way, that this might not taste too good, or you might get too much of the hoppy beer flavor and not enough of like the chicken and the seasoning or whatever. And as I said, I know you guys probably can't see this too well, but this was a picture I took of the shipper. Beer can chicken, grilled beer brat in the middle, and beer braised steak on the other side there. And they were Walmart exclusives. So I took that in hopes of finding, and I was delaying making this review, hoping to find the other two flavors, but I couldn't. And I did find a place selling them online, but they were ridiculously expensive compared to what you'd pay for a can of Pringles in store. And then the cost of shipping, it just was not worth it to go ahead and try to buy them. So we're going to go ahead and try the beer can chicken and see what we think, and at least get a taste of these limited edition flavors. Now, first and foremost, as always, here's our nutrition facts. If you guys want to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to read them off here. This is a 5.5 ounce can, your typical Pringles can. There's about 6 servings per container. Serving size is about 14 crisps, 150 calories, 9 grams of total fat, which includes 2.5 grams of saturated fat, 0 grams of trans fat, 0 milligrams of cholesterol, 180 milligrams of sodium, 17 grams of total carbohydrates. Dietary fiber is less than 1 gram, total sugar is less than 1 gram, and includes 0 grams of added sugars, 1 single gram of protein. Let's go ahead and move on and open this up. So let's do our smell test first. Get rid of the paper. Smells very chickeny, but I don't get a lot of the beer smell. Not necessarily a bad thing. But as of late, the past few times that we've done our smell test, you guys know, if you've watched my previous reviews on things, that there's times where it smells one way, tastes a different way. And that's been a lot lately. So whether that's my scent and taste buds being messed up, or that's just the overall vibe of the way products have been lately, it's whatever. But I'm really not smelling a lot of the beer. So hopefully that leans into what I'm hoping for, and it not being an overpowering, bakey beer type of taste. With that said, here's a chip. It's got some seasoning and stuff on it. Not too heavily seasoned. Let's give it the try. Oh, wow. Interesting. Give me 1 second. I gotta go for one more. Okay. So this is interesting. There is little to no taste of the beer, which, in some cases, when you're cooking with something like that, you don't always retain a lot of the flavor. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. Cooking with beer, cooking with wine, different things. It all depends on how you're using it to cook, and it depends on what kind of flavor you're going for and things like that. If you're making like a reduction and making a sauce or something, you know, sometimes when you do like your beer cheeses and things, or your red wine sauces and things like that, you're gonna get some of the flavor. You're gonna retain some of it. When you're cooking like this, the beer can chicken, where you put the can in the chicken and stand it or roast it over something or whatever, grill it. A lot of times the flavor will kind of permeate, but the chicken will retain moisture and stuff through absorbing the liquid that's evaporating out of the can. Stuff like that. The flavor of the beer is so subtle and almost non-existent in here. And I have had Miller Lite before. It's one of those things where I know what it tastes like. I'm not getting any flavor like that. I am actually getting more of a dark roasted chicken flavor, kind of like what you're seeing here, something that's heavily seasoned with herbs, spices, whatever, or something that's rubbed on or made a light sauce and kind of marinated, rubbed on whatever, and then seasoning on the outside. And it's got a flavor to it that in a way is almost reminiscent of like if you've ever had like roast chicken ramen. You kind of get that slightly bake roasted flavor to it. And it's not something as potent as like a liquid smoke or something to that effect, but it's almost like they went with that kind of seasoning type is what I'm saying, to enhance the flavor of what they were going for. And I tried to have 3, chips. I tried to have a couple in quick succession there to see if I could bring out more of the flavor. Like, sometimes you get that with your spices and your spicier and hotter type of foods, where if you eat a couple in quick succession, the heat kicks up, the flavor kicks up a little bit more. That's what I was trying. Number 1, I like the flavor, but number 2, trying to have it in a couple in succession, I thought would bring out more of either the beer flavor or the spices or whatever. But again, I don't get really much, if any at all, of the beer flavor. It's just so subtly there that you could barely taste it. I'm getting more of the chicken. I'm getting more of the chicken seasoning. And it tastes, the chicken seasoning and stuff tastes really good for being what it is. Now, is this one that I'd go for all the time? Probably not. I like the flavor, but it's not something that would be my first go-to. Like when I go for Pringles, if we have Pringles in the house, I'm weird because they don't make them anymore. But I used to really like they had a Pringles Extreme Dill Pickle or something like that. They do have a dill pickle out now, but it's not as strong. The Extreme was a stronger flavor with more of like a zing that would actually give your tongue, probably because of the MSG and other stuff, whatever, it would give your tongue like a zapped kind of feel where it almost numbed your taste buds for a little bit because it was so strong. And I like that. I like that extreme dill pickle. I like the salt and vinegar flavors. I like your cheddar and sour cream and stuff like that. Not big on the ranch. I like the pizza. I do like plain ones. You know, different flavors like that I'm cool with. Barbecue are okay. I'm not huge on barbecue. There's like barbecue potato chips that I really love, but not particularly the Pringles. But, you know, and actually what's funny too is I really liked the limited edition we had a while back. The Minecraft Pringles were awesome too. But this one isn't one I'd reach for all the time. If it was a regular flavor on the shelf, I'd go for one of those other ones. But it is a good taste. It isn't something that makes me go, I wouldn't reach for it because I don't like it. It's not something like that. But would I rate it high? That's a different story. Overall, again, there's a few qualities lacking here. And number one is the fact that I was hoping and kind of expecting to still have, even though I didn't want the overly potent fake beer taste like you get with some products, and it kind of comes out and it's like, ooh, that's too much, and it's trying too hard to taste like beer, and it doesn't really taste like a good beer or anything like that. You know, I didn't want that, but I wanted some flavor. I wanted some flavor mixed with the flavor of the chicken. I wanted it to come through and blend well, like something that's well cooked and thought out and taken the time to make. But I'm getting more of the chicken. I am still getting plenty of the chicken, the seasoning, the flavor there from that side of the aspect. But again, it just lacks the total package of what it's going for, in my thought. With that being said, I wish I kind of could have tried the other two to compare to see if either of those had more of the flavor to it. But at the same time, I'm very curious as to what brat or the steak would have tasted like, especially the steak more than anything. Lately, it's been a while since I've gotten any, but not long ago, we were kind of on this kick like last year at certain times where every once in a while we'd buy a steak and I would cook it up in the skillet, the like restaurant style, where, you know, take the steak, butter, garlic, some like seasoning, rosemary or whatever, and, you know, baste the steak, cook it in the pan, you know, do the French butter technique or whatever it's called. But I was cooking the steak then leaving it to rest, cooking it to medium, leaving it to rest, slicing it, and we were eating it like just plain, or sometimes we'd put it on salad or whatnot. I just really liked it like that. So I was curious as to what the steak flavor would taste like with this, but I guess we won't get to try that one. But that's okay. If it's anything like this, it's just not gonna be my cup of tea. It'll be good flavor, but not what I'm looking for. That said, let's give a final rating. I am going to go with a straight 6 out of 10. Not the worst, but definitely not the best idea they've had. There's better things out there and other things that they could do that would probably be so much better than this. With that said, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to hang out here on the channel, watch these reviews, and if you're new, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because of the fact that's going to help me continue to grow and bring you more cool reviews like this. If you guys have ever had anything like these, or if you had any of the other flavors that I didn't get to try, let me know what they're like down in the comments. On the flip side, if you've ever cooked with alcohol, whether it's beer or wine or anything like that, what's your favorite dish that you've had or that you've made with that process of cooking? For me, I want to say probably something simple, like either like a beer braised chicken or something to that effect, or I've had like pasta sauces, like actual vodka sauce, or like a red wine sauce or something for pasta that I thought was really good. But overall, things like that are kind of what I lean towards if I do or think of any cooking like that. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you for watching. That's it for this one, and I will see you all next time.